What's up, everybody? This is Jeremy with No Holds, and man, I got the myth, the legend, the one and only Pastor Carlos Gonzalez. What's up, bro?
Man, how you doing, Jeremy? Thank you, man, for doing this, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it,
dude.
for having me on the podcast.
Dude, I'm glad you're on here too, man.
Dude, I was waiting, man. I was like, man, when is Jeremy gonna hit me up, man?
Yeah, no, I wanted to. Also, Pastor Tony, I want to get. It's just timing and everything, but no, man, I'm glad you're on it now. So.
I'm just kidding, man. Yeah, it's good, man. I've really enjoyed it, man. From the get go, man. From number one to now. You know, I don't even know what number you're in now, but you know, I've really enjoyed it, man. It's been good.
Heck yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, man. I was trying to remember the time we first met, but I don't remember.
Man, I don't remember either, Jeremy. I don't.
But what I do remember is this, and I don't know if you remember it. You may not, but there was a time in my life where Andrea and I were kind of going through a struggle, and we were at the old Pizza Hut over here. I pretty much had just got home. I just came back, and we were at this old Pizza Hut over here, and you were with your family, and you went up over there, and you were just like, "Hey, how's everything going? Everything going good?" Like the way you came off was genuine. It was like you really cared. Like, is everything okay? You know. Yeah. And from then on, I was like, man, this dude is like, he's real. Like that's what. Not to say I don't know how to say it, but that's what a Christian should be like.
Yeah. I don't remember it. It's sad. I don't remember it. You know. But I mean, I'm glad that's how you took it, man. And,
yeah.
And was it you or was it you and Andrea?
Yeah, it was me, Andrea, and then Ebony.
Yeah. And I probably didn't know you, but I knew Andrea. You know, I've known Andrea for a while. You know, I've known her since she was, you know, in junior high, I think, man. So yeah, that's, you know, and then she grew up, you know, and I guess that's when she met you, you know. So
yeah. Oh yeah. But no, I just want to thank you for that, man. I said I didn't know if you remembered or not, but.
I don't. I do remember the Pizza Hut, and I miss it.
Dude, yeah.
The salad bar from there. They quit lying. It was a salad bar.
That Pizza Hut was awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
Ask you a couple just simple questions. Favorite color?
Man, purple.
Purple?
Mm-hmm.
Why purple?
It's just, I don't know. It's just always been my favorite color. I don't know why. I mean, I don't wear anything purple. I just like purple.
Purple, okay.
Yeah.
We'll take it. Favorite book?
My favorite book that I've ever read is Where the Red Fern Grows.
Oh man.
Do you remember that book?
Yes, I do remember that.
Like I could read that book over and over. I just can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
dude. It's old school, man.
It is. It's back in the day, man. We actually read that book in high school. We had to do a report over it, and I just like that book. So.
Yeah, nice. If you can go back and talk to your teenage self, what advice would you give him?
Ooh. Quit being a punk. Stop being a punk.
Yeah.
Quit being a jerk. Yeah.
Were you a jerk back then? I guess.
Dude, I think I was, man.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really remember, but you know, I mean, I know I was a punk, man. I was.
Quit being a jerk. Quit being a punk.
Yeah.
The best advice you've ever received?
Don't bet on a dog in a horse race. Know what you're doing. Really, you know, when the guy told me that, he said, "Don't bet on a dog in a horse race." He was telling me, know what you're doing, know where you're at, know why you're doing it. Don't just do things and come up and start doing things. I've always had an issue of voicing my opinion, voicing, you know, what I think, and I've come to learn that not everybody cares, nobody cares really, you know, what we think, you know. So
yeah,
that old man told me that don't bet a dog in a horse race is don't just come up and start talking, you know what the situation is, know what's going on. And
nice. What about the worst advice you've ever received?
Ooh. YOLO.
YOLO.
Yeah, that's probably the worst advice I've ever.
Dude, I remember when people started saying that.
And back and let's be real. We didn't do YOLO. We did just do it. You know, we our deal was back in the day was just do it.
Yeah.
Nike, whatever. Just do it.
Just do it.
I guess the kids, the newer generation, it was YOLO. You only live once. Whatever. But it was just do it. So.
Yeah. Nice. A talent that you have, or a gift that you have that nobody knows about.
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know a gift or a talent that I have.
Can you sing?
Nah, no, I can't. Dude, I couldn't carry a note in a bucket, bro. I couldn't, man. No.
Play guitar or anything? Huh?
I used to play drums. I used to play drums back in the day, but again, that was back in the day.
Yeah.
So, that was a long time ago. I played a little bit. I played drums, and I played a little bit of bass. So.
You don't play it anymore? Nothing?
No, man. No, they done kicked me out, moved me out, say get out the way. You're just in the way, and moved me out. They put me on the soundboard now, bro. They hit me back in the bag. They hit me back in the bag. Said run sound, and they're moving me out of the way slowly here and there too, something from sound. But that's what we do. I mean, that's what that's why we do things is to disciple people, to grow people, and and not to be in the same spot.
Yeah.
I'm okay with not playing drums. I'm okay with not playing bass. I'm okay with not doing sound. So
yeah, there we go.
Good.
Thank you. You were talking about the advice you would give yourself when you were younger. I want to go to that. I want to know who was Carlos back in the day. Who was how was he when he was younger? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up here in Seminole. I grew up in Seminole. Been in Seminole all my life. My dad. He farmed. He was a farmer. We lived out on the Mesa Highway about 30 miles out, man. We were the first people the bus picked up, and we were the last people the bus dropped off. So we were way out there, man. We were way out there. We were right on the county line of Dawson and Gaines. We would come to school here, but we would go to church in La Mesa for a long time. Time. So,
man, how old were you? Because there was, how many of y'all?
Three of us.
Three of y'all.
Yes.
And how old were y'all?
When what?
Like when y'all started going to church, I guess. Like
we've been going to church all our life. I mean, my mom's and my dad's family it's it's a family of going to church. Man, we've been in church. We were raised in church.
Catholic or no denomination?
No, we've been Assemblies of God all our life, really. All our life. So.
Gotcha. And did you ever have any trouble with, like, say, friendships because of that?
Oh yeah. I believe when we were younger, people would make fun of us because we were Christians or because we would go to church.
Yeah.
So I believe you're asking me about how we were when we were younger, and I believe people making fun of us being Christians brought a lot of the things that I did because of that. So
yeah. You had three of y'all, so there was you're the only
I'm the only boy.
Only boy, and there was two girls, and who's the two girls?
Which is Eunice is my oldest sister, and then Arlie, she was my youngest sister.
Okay, so you were the
I was the only boy in the middle one. Yeah.
Man, how was that?
It was a little different, man. It was a little different. Everybody says that I was spoiled, but it was different. I remember growing up, I would get upset at my dad whenever he would want to spank my sisters or my mom. I'd be like, what, just spank me, instead of spanking my sisters or whatever. And but that's just the way it was. I mean, but they say that I was a spoiled one, but I don't think that was true. I still got whooped just like everybody else.
Yeah. So. Dang it, man. They had to have two sisters. I have no idea how that would feel.
No, dude, it's horrible, bro. So, growing up, again, we lived out there in the farm, like in the middle of nowhere. We had one other neighbor next to us, and for a long time, it was the Muskie's family, and it was nothing but girls. I mean, I was surrounded by nothing but girls, and that was not good, man. It was bad, man. I'd get picked on, I'd get beat up, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, if cousins of mine ever came, my Trevino cousins, they would come like for the summer to come work over here in West Texas, whatever, and it was girls. It wasn't boys. It was girls, man, and it was bad. It was bad.
Dang it.
It was bad.
So how were you in school? What was Carlos like in school?
Man, I was a troublemaker. I really was, man. I really was. I've always said that people wouldn't like me if I wasn't a Christian. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And why is that? Okay, what kind of trouble did you get into?
Man, I was very disrespectful. You know them kids in junior high that
Oh man.
that just run their mouth and
Yes.
think they're invincible. That was me, man.
Yeah.
That was me, and yeah. Dude, I see kids nowadays, and I'm all like, oh my gosh, I'd probably punch myself, I'd probably beat myself up now.
Dang it, dude. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I was like that too.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody was like that in junior high, but I know for sure I was somewhat like that. You disrespectful to your parents also, or is just to maybe friends or other people, like other adults?
Yeah, you wouldn't be disrespectful to your parents, man. In Mexican's family, you're not. My mom's 4 foot tall, but she's a little dynamite, bro. She just slapped the heck out of me, bro. So
Yeah.
she literally had the chancla, like literally that was her weapon, the chancla. So no, I didn't disrespect my parents, but outside my house, that's funny because my parents didn't raise me like that. My parents didn't raise me to disrespect nobody.
Yeah.
But outside the house, I was pretty rude, and again, I think that came from me being overprotective of myself. People, considering, saying that I was, would go to church, we were Christians, and they'd make fun of us, or whatever, because we were different. So
Yeah. Man, what were your friends like though? What kind of friends did you have growing up?
Man, again, we didn't live in town. Like I didn't live in town.
But did you went to school,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I went to school. That's where I'm going. So most of the time we lived out on the farm, man. So
Yeah.
so my friends really were our dogs and our neighbors, really, But in school, you did have friends, but we were there 8 hours, 8 hours a day or whatever. You were in school and then you'd get there and then you'd go back. So really we didn't, we had friends in church, that they would see, but most of our friends, most of my friends when I was growing up were probably like little gangsters, man. That's what we thought we were, back in the day,
Yeah.
So
Man.
I mean, I would just associate with them kind of kids, I don't know why, how, or we talk about it. I don't know why.
Yeah. And why go to La Mesa for church? Why not here in Seminole?
That's when we moved, when my parents moved here, they moved first to O'Donnell.
Oh, okay.
O'Donnell, and they worked there, and then they moved to La Mesa, and that's where they met or they got connected to a church in La Mesa. And when my dad and mom moved out to work in the farm further out towards Seminole, well, we still kept going to church in La Mesa. We went to church in La Mesa. I think I was about 7th grade, so 12, 13 years.
Oh, okay.
12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
Whenever we left La Mesa. Church in La Mesa to come to church in Seminole.
And the church that you're going at now, that's the only one you've ever been to
In
here in
Seminole,
Seminole?
yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
how was that transition?
Well, we left. My mom and my dad made this transition because most of our friends were here in Seminole from the church. I started having issues in La Mesa with people in church at that young age.
Okay.
At a very young age. I say 12, 13, but we were still going to church there when we were 13 or whatever. I started having issues, over there, and my mom just decided to move to Seminole, to start coming to church in La Mesa, because this is where friends that we had in junior high and in high school, they went to the church that I go now, Templo Nazaret. So that's how we started going to church here.
What kind of issues did you have over there?
Man.
I mean, if you can talk about it.
No, yeah, man. Again, I started getting in fights, and stuff like that. I mean, it every church service, we would go to church, and then after church, we're outside fighting. That's just the way it was. We were little. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I don't know what that was all about, but yeah, that's
Just
the way
getting
it
into
was.
some fights, man.
That's the way it was, man. That's the way it was.
Dang it, Carlos.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's just the way it was.
And so, how was it here? Was it easy for you to kind of was it welcoming at this church when y'all first started?
Yes. I mean, this church was very welcoming. The students that they would hang out with, the guys that they would hang out with, which Isaiah Villarreal was probably my best friend, growing up. Boone Alvidrez, was a real good friend of mine too. Felix Jaramillo, Mike Alvidrez. Those are all people that used to go to church there, and those are just people that I hung out with, and yeah, man. They just took us in. They took us in, and we just felt welcome.
Yeah.
So, Rudy Acosta was a big reason that we fit in that church also. So.
What did he do to?
Rudy back then was he was younger. He was a younger adult in the church, and he was a Royal Ranger commander. So he would. It's a program that we have in the Assemblies of God. Royal Rangers like a Boy Scout. They grow young men into men. We help young boys grow into young men, and we do anything from camping to fishing to hunting to studying the Bible, and those are things that I got involved in and really helped me out, man.
Yeah. Oh man, that's good. I know my uncle Pete in Florida had Royal Rangers. I never went. He always wanted me to go, but I always kind of pushed him to the side, like, no, I'm not going to church, or I'm not going to go over there. But I did have another cousin that went, and everything he talked about, I was like, man, it's kind of like I wish I did go back then, but it's something I did miss out on. But
it was fun, man. Growing up, again, I never went to the lake or nothing like that. Again, we worked down on the farm. My dad worked 6 days a week. And Sunday we were at church. And we really didn't have time to do stuff. So when I started hanging out with coming to church here in Seminole, those were opportunities that I was able to get. That I started learning. About hunting, about fishing, about shooting guns and stuff like that. So
yeah, no man, that's awesome, man. Like your kids, are they involved in that?
Yes.
Yes. Now, yeah.
My kids are involved in Royal Rangers. I actually am now a Royal Ranger commander. As of January of this year, I'm not a youth pastor no more. Pastor Juan took over, and I am now over the Royal Rangers in our church. Yes, sir.
Oh, that's awesome.
Over the Royal Ranger program in our church.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Like, what made you decide to say, okay, not to say that you're done with youth or that you're kind of pushing them away, but to go a different direction?
Again, first of all, we do things to be able to disciple other people.
Yeah.
To be able to do what we do. I think Pastor Juan, it was his season, it was his time. He's a great speaker. I think he connects very well with the students, and I thought, for me now, I was just, it was time for me to let go of that and let Pastor Juan take over, and I think it was a good choice.
No, I think he's gonna do an amazing job, man. Like he is, just getting to know him throughout the years, man. You can definitely tell his heart is for the youth, also, man. Yeah,
definitely.
What made you want to get into youth?
We got pushed in it, man.
Oh yeah,
we got pushed in it, man. Again, I won't say how old I am, but back in my day, we didn't have youth pastors. We didn't. Youth pastor wasn't a thing. Back in my day, when we were young.
So what did y'all do then as youth? Did y'all just go to just main service and then that was it? Or I guess you said you had Royal Rangers, but like that, there was no kind of youth service.
There was a youth group in our church in the well, at least, and I don't want to say Assemblies of God. I want to say in our church, the church that we were going. We had like every other Wednesday, we had group services. Like it was ladies this Wednesday, and the next Wednesday was men's, led by ladies, led by men's, and then led by youth. So we had leaders, youth leaders. We had, a youth president, vice president, and secretary for that group, and,
Yeah.
and that's what we had. We didn't have a youth pastor, but we did have leaders. And at a very young age, I started helping, in the youth.
So man, you've always just been involved
Yeah.
with church. You've never really. There wasn't a point to where you were in high school to where you were like, man, I'm just done going to church. Like I'm.
That was an option in our house, bro. That was an option.
Yeah.
That was, you're gonna go to church. I don't care what you did or whatever where you're at. You're going to church. So
Yeah.
every Sunday and every Wednesday we were at church. Sundays twice. So that's just the way it was.
Yeah. And did that ever make you like just kind of angry or anything?
Oh,
Well, not
yeah.
angry, but just
Well, no, and, no,
Kinda-
and it don't make you angry. You just live with it. That's something that you knew. That you were gonna go to church no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's just what it was. It was just a lifestyle for us. It's just go to church. You're gonna go to church. So
man, twice on Sunday. too.
twice on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do y'all still do that on Sundays?
Now we don't. Now we're only because of all this coronavirus and social distancing and stuff. We're only doing one service. But yes, at some point we were there at the church where I sit, Temple Gonzalez. We were doing up to 3 services on a Sunday. We were doing an English, a Spanish, and a Sunday school.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So back to being the youth pastor, you said you were just pushed into it. Like, what do you mean by that? Is just you, like y'all were just already serving in there and said, okay, you're the youth pastor. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, we didn't get really pushed in there like that. Like I mean, we got pushed into leadership. I chose to take that role as a youth pastor. Pastor Tony was our youth pastor, and but I worked under Pastor Tony for about 10, 11, 12 years, something like that I worked under Pastor Tony.
And he was a youth pastor for
Pastor Tony was a youth
those
pastor
years.
for those years. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I had a great mentor. I did.
Yeah.
I had a great mentor. Which I say we didn't have youth pastors, but we've had youth leaders. In my past, Robert Uresti is a great. He's a great mentor of mine too. In La Misa, he was a great mentor to me. He was a youth leader, and I just enjoyed how he did it. He's like you say, he was very genuine. He was very. He didn't beat around the bush. He spoke the word of God, and I really enjoyed that, man.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, dang it, man, that's awesome. And yeah, I didn't know Pastor Tony was a youth pastor that long.
yeah, for that, I mean, he was a youth pastor for a while, man. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how was it being youth pastor when you got that title?
It was different, man. It's again, I've told you that I've always thought that my opinion mattered, and whenever I was under Pastor Tony, and I tell Pastor Tony this all the time, and I was, he's real calm, real collective, man, and me, I could get very livid pretty quick, I got a short fuse sometimes, and that's something that I'm praying about, that God control and heal in my life. That's something that I literally pray for all the time, and I think God's doing a good job in my life doing that. But man, I've had to learn, real quick that again, that not everybody cares what I think. I got to know when to speak. I got to know when to say what I'm going to say.
Oh yeah.
So those are things that I believe I've learned, as a youth pastor. So.
No, that's good, man. Because I know, and too, because you're pretty involved with the community and stuff, and like people will just kind of just on and on and on, and I know sometimes you want to say something like, okay, it's time to shut up,
Yeah.
but then okay, no, I better not say anything because then this and this is going to start. But no, I can definitely tell, that I can definitely tell for sure. When did you meet your wife?
Ooh. Well.
You better get this right.
Yeah, time out. Come back.
Can we pause it? I can pause it real quick.
No. Well, Nancy, my wife Nancy, she's the pastor's daughter. She's the pastor's youngest daughter. So when we started coming to church here, I knew her from school. I knew Nancy from school already. So I met her in school, but I started to talk to her Probably my 8th grade year in junior high when we started coming to church here in Seminole.
Oh wow. Okay. So y'all started dating, or
No,
just kind of just talking? And
no. I'm telling you. At that time, I wasn't likable, man. I was she wasn't she wasn't the type of girl that was attracted to this kind of guy. You know what I mean? What I'm saying?
okay, what do you mean like not likable? It's just because of you being disrespectful?
Yes, again I was rude, man. I was
Yeah.
rude. I was a punk. Man, I'm telling you, I'm glad God came into my life, man.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah, just very disrespectful, man. Not you talked down, talked ugly, was mean, was very rude, type of deal, man.
Yeah. So so when did y'all actually start dating?
Man, I started dating her when not man. 2000 and I mean we got man I don't even know Gabriel. I mean, my buddy Gabriel got married and I don't know when, but the week of his wedding is when me and Nancy started dating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and here's how it happened, man. Again, I'll tell you, back in the day, there was no youth pastors, there were youth leaders. Well, I was a youth leader, she was a youth leader, and we were just always hanging out together. And I started growing interest, and I think I was like 24. I think at that point I was already like 24, 23, something like that. And we weren't youth pastors. I guess I was a youth pastor already by that time. And I just I was ready to settle down and get married. Um, and that's funny because before that I always said that I wasn't going to get married.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't you want to get married?
I didn't want to get married. I didn't think that was for me, man. I didn't think marriage was for me. And Nancy come around and she changed that mentality in me, man. But we were getting ready for the Father's Day deal, Nancy and I, and we would spend a lot of time together because she was a leader in the youth and I was a youth pastor in the youth and again, at one point I said, you know what, I need to change. I need to do something, and I want to get married. So I went up to Nancy, and again, we were at that point. Me and Nancy were friends already. Again, in junior high, my junior high years, I was like that. High school years, I started being a little bit more. You grow up, you grow out of puberty, or you grow past puberty, whatever you want to call it, and you start behaving. You start, acting human and normal and stuff like that. But so I knew Nancy from then already, and I say past that, but I think at that time is whenever I gave my life to God. I think it was my sophomore year, freshman year, that I literally remember giving my life to God. Like I remember, it was at a youth convention in Lubbock, Texas. Pastor. Sammy, what is his last name? I don't remember what his last name is. He was preaching at that youth convention, and I remember just literally pouring my heart out and to God at that time, and I remember literally feeling a difference in my life after that prayer that I did that day. After literally speaking to God, and God, I think it was my sophomore year in high school.
Man.
Yeah.
Sophomore
year, yeah.
That's awesome, man. I think, thinking back, I was in high school too. Of course, I grew up Catholic, but there was they used to do a drama called Heaven's Gates, Hell's Flames. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Oh, no.
And at the end, they do an altar call. I was probably maybe a sophomore back then when that happened, and I did get saved, but I didn't understand what it was. So after that, I didn't go searching, or I didn't go to church, wanting to know more. It was just, okay, you get saved and then you're off. Like I wish I would have knew more back then. I felt like maybe my life would have been a whole lot different. But even at that, like I'm still thankful for where I'm at now. You know, just because of what he's done. So yeah, man, when did y'all get married? You know, I mean,
we got married in
okay. Well, let me ask you this: did you were you old school? Did you go and ask her dad, say, "Hey, can I date your daughter?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what was his reaction to that? Because did he know any of your past, or did he know?
Yes.
Like,
yes. He knew my past. He knew who I was. So when I did, I remember asking Nancy and asking Nancy out, and then uh, it's funny because when I asked Nancy out, it was a Friday night. I asked Nancy out a Friday night, and I told her, like, you don't have to answer me now, but think about it. And I left. And I left. Nancy at that time, she was already in college. She was already going to college, and she was in Odessa. She was living in Odessa at the time. And when I asked her out, and it was a Friday, and then that was Friday. Sunday we had Father's Day service at our church, and it was kind of awkward, because I'd already asked her out and she hadn't said anything. So we would just, we did what we had to do or whatever, and then I think like on Monday or Tuesday she calls me, and she says she told me that she said, well, you know what, let's meet back in Odessa. Let's meet in Odessa. We went to go eat at a paleteria across from the college, from OC, where Nancy was going to, and we sat down. She made me drive all the way to Tuesday night. She made me drive all the way to Odessa. Made me buy her fresas con crema.
She made you buy it.
Yeah, man, she made me buy her fresas con crema. I thought she was gonna say yes, bro.
Yeah.
Well, she said no, man.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, dude. She said, no, you know what? We're good friends. I don't think this is a good idea. That's what she told me.
Oh, man.
So I was like, cool, all right. I said, all right, I'm good. I said, but I had already paid for the stuff. So, she goes back to college, and I come back home, and a couple of days later, I guess that Friday, she calls me and says, you know what, let's meet up again. And I met her in Andrews this time because I was going to go, again, my buddy Gabriel was getting married in that weekend. So I was going to be in Andrews, and Nancy met me in Andrews, and she said, okay, I want to think about it a little bit longer. So I want to think about it a little bit longer. She said, let me pray on it. I said, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Jesus, take the wheel. No,
Jesus, you got this. You got this.
And so she said, let me think about it. Don't take that no yet. I don't know what I want. I'm a little. You caught me off guard. We've been friends for a long time. Yeah. Whatever. She said, give me a little bit. And so that weekend happened. We went to a youth convention in Mexico, in Guadalajara. I think that was in July or August. We went over there, and then on the way back from that trip is when Nancy told me that yes, she would date. She wanted to date me. She wanted to be my girlfriend. So all that, bro, yeah. So she just drugged me along, bro. I think, man. I tell her she knew what she was doing, man.
Yeah.
I was going to a wedding, bro. And she told me to hold up. Come on, man.
And you did, huh?
Yeah, but of course, man.
You did,
yeah,
right?
I had to, bro. Like, man.
Oh, yeah.
I crashed his wedding. No, just kidding. I just kidding. My buddy Gabriel would laugh at that.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Dang it. Heck yeah, man. So how long did y'all date before y'all got married?
I tell Nancy that we dated for like 4 years, but we dated 6 months. I asked her to marry me, and again, I had to go to her dad and ask her dad, first.
Yeah.
After she said yes, I had to go to her dad, ask her dad, and he says, okay, just fine, just respect my daughter. No, whatever goes, respect my daughter. You're not gonna go. I was 24, I think, and she was 22, and we still couldn't go. I couldn't go by myself on a date with her, man. Still, so.
What do you mean by yourself on a date?
Like we couldn't go. Like no, y'all can't go. I was like, man, we're 24. You're not telling me what to do. You know what I mean? But anyway,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I mean, that's just old school
Yeah.
Mexican parents, bro. That's
Yeah.
just the way they were. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nancy lived in Odessa by herself. You know, and that to me, you know, okay, you know, I want to date you, but that kind of got old after a while. You know, having to pay for my little sister. Again, Arlie lived with Nancy. You know, in Odessa. You know, whenever I was dating Nancy, so every time I would go over there, Arlie would, you know, tag along because it was a free meal. You know, it was a free meal for her too. So, but anyways, you know, we had to respect that, and after 6 months, I popped the question, see if she, you know, if she wanted to marry me. Again, when we started going out, you know, I told her, like, listen, I'm 24. I'm not, you know, I'm not looking to mess around. I'm asking you out because my next step is to get married.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna, you know, mess around. This is not to maybe see. I'm not young no more. You know, this is I'm gonna get married. You know, and she agreed to that. So she knew where this was going. You know, 6 months into that, then I asked her to marry me. And again, at that time, you got to do the Mexican way. You know, that you got to go to the parents, and you know, I got to go ask. You know, the mom and the dad, and her mom was the one that I had issues with, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's the one that her dad was hey, you know, I get married, you know.
Yeah.
But her mom, she wouldn't.
She wasn't for it. Not at all. Why is that?
I don't know, man.
Does Nancy have any siblings?
Nancy's the baby. Nancy's the baby.
She's
Yeah.
the baby. So
She's the baby of the
maybe
family,
that's
yeah.
it. Maybe not. I don't know.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give my mother-in-law the benefit of the doubt because she was a baby and not because she didn't like me. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Mother-in-law.
No, he's not. No.
But yeah, it was. I think we dated about a year and a half, 2 years, and then we ended up getting married August 5th of 2005.
What time? No, I'm just kidding.
6 o'clock.
I'm
No, I
kidding.
don't know.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
Did I'm guessing her dad married Joe?
No.
No.
Pastor Ovidio from Seagrace married us.
Who's this?
Pastor Ovidio. He's Nancy's family's lifelong friend.
Oh, okay.
So that's who Nancy chose to marry us. Where her dad was going to walk her down the aisle and stuff. So.
Oh, okay,
You
yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
we chose somebody else to do it. Yeah. So,
Oh man, heck yeah, dude. So I'm guessing now, like, what made her mother, like your mother-in-law, change her mind about you? I guess about, okay, yeah, you can marry my daughter.
it got pretty serious, bro.
Oh yeah.
It got pretty like either okay, you know, I told you really gonna get married or not, you know. So you're either gonna get married with me or I'm done. So I didn't want to wait. You know, I was there to get married. You know. What I mean?
Yeah.
And she knew that from the get go, and she agreed to it. And really, I just told her, I was like, you know, if cause she was ready to get married.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Nancy was ready to get married. We just waited on her mom to say, yeah, you know. And I respected that to a point, you know. And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
you know, she finally, Nancy, you know, went and talked to her. And Nancy has always been the type that respected everything her parents said. Ever since I've known Nancy, Nancy never did anything to disrespect or disobey her parents. Not that I know of.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known Nancy for a long time, and Nancy, you know, hardly, you know, I don't remember, you know, her ever doing anything to disrespect or disobey her parents.
Yeah.
Ever, man.
Wow.
Ever. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's good.
So
Heck yeah. And then you came along.
yeah, boy, I gotta put a little twist in that.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Dang it. Oh man. Man, that's funny.
So that's mine. You know, that's my deal. You know, we never get married in 2005. So
2005. Heck yeah, man.
yeah, the funny thing, we got married at it used to be Agape Church. There's a church there now too, right there on Southwest 4th.
Here?
Yes.
Southwest 4th.
Jimmy's the pastor there now.
Oh, yes.
Perla was a youth pastor there for a little bit too.
Atlas Church.
Atlas, yeah.
Yes.
That we got married at that church, which when we got married, they had that big building on the side. Remember, they had a big building, and that's where
The
tower fell on that big building. So yeah, that's how I remember that. We were like the last wedding in that church, and like the next year that tower fell over.
The tower fell over.
So
dang, it was that.
Yeah.
Really?
2006, I think, is whenever that happened.
Oh wow.
Then I think it was spring.
Yeah, it was something like that.
2006.
Yeah, because I remember that. Well, we weren't here. We weren't in town. We were in the Mesa at that time when that happened. But yeah, I remember coming home and seeing that there. It was
That's
like,
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Dang.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So what about kids, man? You have what? Two kids.
2 boys.
How old are they?
I got Nehemiah's 9 and Caleb is 7.
And you're very involved in their lives, but also with coaching and sports. Were you into sports when you were a kid? Also?
Yes, I was. I've always been into sports. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, that's good, man. Yeah, I know you see, and I'm not dissing the dads or anything, but there are some dads that just don't want to be involved with sports or anything, which they may not agree with what's going on. But to me, I feel like the more they're active and the more they're doing things, it's kind of it keeps them, into actually doing bad things.
Right.
That's just how I view it. So,
And actually, that's one of the things that I think played a big role in my life too. Jeremy is again, we were. You gotta understand that we lived 30 miles out of town, man. I always think, from junior high, Cruz and Zulema Villalba, the Iglesia, Sylvia and her husband. Those are places where whenever after practice I was able to go, man. They would open the doors, and after practice, we were junior high. We would eat a lot, man. So we'd go to their house because my parents. My mom didn't drive. My mom didn't have a license. My mom was a housewife. My dad was a farmer. He worked from sun up to sundown. Sometimes 7:30. Before he got out, and then he'd have to eat supper, take a shower, and then he'd drive to Seminole to pick me up. And that was Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays after a football game. So that was very difficult. So Little League stuff I didn't do. I didn't do Little League. There was no opportunity for me to do Little League.
Yeah.
So I had to wait till junior high to be able to start playing sports. So that was my parents' schedule. Again, I thank some of the coaches that there was days that they had to drive me all the way out there to the house to be able to drop me off after school. Coach Whitfield, Coach Nino that was here back in the days. Coach Esparza, they just took turns taking me back to my house, man. 30 miles, after practice, they would take me over there and come back, 30 minutes, an hour. That they weren't around their family either, man. To be able to drop me off. So those are people that were Coach Sproul that were very influential in my life growing up, also, man. So
and I can definitely tell that you play that role now. I was going to ask this later on, but it's kind of on the subject we're talking about now. I talk to people out in the community, and when you talk about like a church or somebody reaching out, the name that I hear the most is you, is Carlos Gonzalez. Like, you're well known for either reaching or doing something to help the community. And dude, like I love that your heart is for the community. I love that you're reaching out when, not saying when no one else is, but and you also did that with the youth. I look at your stories or talk to different people, like maybe Richard or even people younger than him, and they're always around you. They're like, oh, we're going to Carlos's house, or we're going to go do this, or we're, and it was always around you. So what made you do that with the community, though? Like, what made you, like, your heart say, man, I'm going to go and do this, or I'm going to go and do that over there with the community?
I believe that everybody has to have a chance to hear the gospel.
Yeah.
I believe there's people that are never going to step a foot inside church, but I still think they need the opportunity to be able to hear the gospel. A lot of people won't ever step into the church because maybe they've maybe they have or maybe they haven't, but maybe they've heard things, about the church. They're going to want to change them. They're going to want to do this. They're going to want to do that. They will never step into the church. I believe we need to meet people where they're at to be able to take them the gospel.
Yeah.
Jesus. That's what Jesus did. Jesus went. It was very few times that Jesus asked people to come to him. Jesus went to them, and I believe as a church, that's what we need to do. We need to go to the people.
Yeah.
Take the gospel. So that's where that comes from me. I think everybody needs to not hear the gospel, but they need to see the gospel.
Yeah.
A lot of us want to speak the gospel, but we don't want to live the gospel. I'll lie with my mouth a lot of times. I won't say the truth with my mouth a lot of times. I might say something like earlier. I'll say, hey, be here at 6:30. We weren't able to be here at 6:30. But with our actions, we show people, how much you care.
Yeah.
Our actions mean a lot more than our words.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely can tell you've played a big role in this community just because, like I said, talking to different people here, you're like one of the main people they bring up. I actually had David Leva on here a while back, and and he was like, Carlos has been a big part of my life. For Christians to sometimes we get just so up, full of it, so selfish that I don't want to go hang out with them because of what they do, or because of what their past is, or what they look like. But you're not like that, And I think that's where I noticed that when you first went up to me and just like, hey, how's everything going? It's seeing your heart behind all that. And man, I just wanted to say, man, I'm proud of you for doing that and to keep it up for sure.
There was a time, Jeremy, in my life that after I left, I graduated high school. Again, I had given my life to Christ probably my sophomore year, summer. It was the fall of my sophomore year. I had committed my life to Jesus Christ. But I was born in church. I was brought up in church, but I played the part of going to church. Or I went to church because my parents made me go to church.
Yeah.
But when I went to college, I started seeing things. My mom wasn't around, my dad wasn't around, my pastors weren't around. So why not? I started getting into things that I wasn't supposed to. Started drinking, started doing drugs. Started.
And this was after you got saved.
This is after I got saved. This is after high school. This is after high school.
Yeah.
And I started doing things that I wasn't supposed to, man. And again, I believe that God had a purpose in all that. I believe God had a purpose in all that, and I ended up going to jail for a while. I ended up going to jail for a while, just for some dumb stuff that I did, and I thank God for taking me out of that, because if it wouldn't have been for God, which I knew who God was, in the back of my head, there was always praying to God, keep me safe, God. And that sounds kind of weird, kind of dumb, but I knew who to turn to. Mm-hmm. I just didn't want to do right. I didn't want to do right, but I knew who to turn to.
Yeah.
So,
man, what I don't know if you mind sharing why you went to jail.
For drugs. I was intent to sell drugs. It was cocaine. So,
yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what made you? Well, I'm guessing jail and everything changed you from going back to that lifestyle.
No. I come out of there, and it was the same thing. Just one day, after I got out, I was still doing the same thing, but I would still go to church.
Yeah.
I'd still go to church. I knew what I wanted. I couldn't get away from what I was doing. I just couldn't. I could honestly say that I was addicted to cocaine. I actually started distributing cocaine just to be able to keep up with my addiction. I started selling drugs to be able to keep up with my addiction.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't afford it no more. I ended up injuring my knee. After that, I tore all my ligaments in my knee playing football. So I tore all my ligaments in my knee. I didn't have a job. The only way for me to be able to to make money was to sell drugs.
Yeah.
I mean that's just the way it was, At that time, I thought that was the only way that I could make money,
Yeah.
was selling drugs, and I got into that, and because I needed to do drugs, so I started selling the drugs. I didn't have money to buy them, so.
Yeah. And did your parents they ever find out? I'm guessing when you went to jail, they found
When
out
I
and they
went to
knew.
jail.
But
I remember in that time after I went to jail, I moved back with my parents, and I remember Fridays, Saturdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, would start partying. I remember coming in, to the house about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and I remember, just sitting there all wired out, and my mom going to my room, put her hand, on my head or on my heart, and just start praying over my life,
wow.
And she just kept saying, God, he's yours, or whatever, and she kept praying over that, and I would hear that, and I remember go to bed and thinking, man, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
I know I'm not supposed to be doing this, but it was too late. I was already in it. But that's the part of being addicted to a drug. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people think that they're just druggies or whatever. But it's an illness just like anybody else. It's a stronghold that the enemy has on us. In that time, and I understand that. And I believe if God could free me from that, God could free anybody from anything.
Yeah.
Because I tell you, Jeremy, when I rededicated my life to Christ, drugs weren't an issue for me after that. I tell you, from the I walked into church, whacked out, and walked out of church, saved and not wanting that stuff no more.
Wow.
I mean, and nobody could tell me that God doesn't do that, because God did it for me.
Yeah.
I mean, my mouth, my vocabulary changed, my my addictions changed, everything changed. Everything changed. Now, did it ever come back? Yes, the enemy used that against me. He would have used that against me. But I knew how to fight it. I knew how to fight that. I knew what I wanted in my life. I knew there was Bible verses that I could pray, recite, and read and memorize, and say them over and over. So I knew that I had a little bit more help. Then, because I know what I wanted after that. So.
Wow, man, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Dang it. And I think that's why it's so. It's because you talk to different Christians and saying, reaching out to maybe it's druggies or different, and maybe it's easier for you to do it because you've been there and you understand. Hey, no, they really can change their life. Compared to somebody who is, I don't know how to put it, but maybe religious, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I don't want nothing to do with that person. I think that's why it's so easy. Like, God used that because, man, yeah, like I said, the community, man. Like, whenever I see community, I see you, because that's what you're doing, man. And that's amazing. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, my heart is for the community. And well, I would just say for people.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see people change. And I love it when they do change.
Yeah, and that again, that comes from what God did for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen God do that, and you're like, man, I can't keep that to myself. God could do that for me. God could do that for somebody else. Alcohol, drugs, those things. We use those things to be able to hide stuff. To be able to cover other things that other things that we're fighting. So we could forget. But those problems didn't go away.
Yeah.
They didn't go away. They just got magnified. With what we did. All those things. Just keep us away from what God really has for us.
Yeah.
Instead of trusting God, we trust alcohol, we trust drugs to take away what only God could take away from us, man.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. That's real good. Do you think that the church as a whole is reaching the community like they should be?
No.
And what can we do to change that?
Man, I don't know. I mean that
And
I don't know. I just know, and you say a church as a whole,
as a whole,
as a whole,
and I say that too because even the church as a whole struggles just to come together as the church.
And you say as a whole, but I see, when you say church, I'm part of the church.
Yeah.
I'm part of the church.
Yes.
And when I say no, it's not because you're not doing it or because it's because I'm not doing it either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, going out there. Literally, God tells us, to go out and feed the hungry.
Yeah.
God tells us to go out and help the widows, the ones in need. As a church, sometimes we're too busy trying to get our agenda right, trying to get our service lined up or our live looking good. We're going live nowadays, and yes, we're doing it for people to see. But when was the last time that I went up to somebody and said, "Hey, I want to preach the gospel of God to you. I want to show you the gospel through my life." When's the last time we did that, man?
Yeah.
Literally as a church. When's the last time that we reached somebody for Christ without wanting anything back either?
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while. That and my heart is an outreach. My heart's is for outreach.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. But we get so busy. Jeremy, caught up on things that we don't do it. We don't do it, man. And I think I've told you one time that literally I was having a conversation with God. And God was telling me, he literally said, "Carlos, are you?" And I tell you that I heard God's voice, like literally me and you talking here, and I was sitting down, and God said, "Carlos, are you really a Christian?" And again, this is I had already given my life. I had done ministry. I had played, I played drums in church. I was a youth pastor, youth leader. I was helping Community One. I was doing all that, and literally God said, "Carlos, are you a Christian?" I said, "Well, yeah, God, I think I am. I play drums. I preach when you want me to. I'm a youth pastor. I do Sunday school. I do Community One, and I started telling them all, everything that I did. I gave them my resume. I patted my resume, and I gave it to God. And I said, "Look, God, this is what I've done." He said, "You're telling me that you're a Christian, but you're telling everybody around you, yes." You're telling your pastor yes to this, to preaching. You're telling your pastor yes. You're telling your Community One. You're telling Community One yes. You're gonna help with Andrew Tree. You're gonna do this. But how about the things that I'm asking you to do, Carlos?
Well,
and God said, how about the things that I'm telling you to do?
Yeah.
You're obeying everybody else, but God. And as a church, that's what I think. We're doing. We're obeying everybody else, and when God asks us to do something, we shut our ear to Him, man.
Oh man, yeah, that's so good.
Because they're not gonna think it's the right thing to do, man.
Yeah.
I've always told you, I loved playing flag football with you, man. I believe that's you being the church out there, Jeremy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I believe those guys that we played flag football with, we're not the best, athletes or by no means. But a lot of those students or a lot of those guys out there never gonna step a foot inside church, and they can see who God is through us.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's right, and that's exactly why. That's how I see it too. When we were out there, and I think you even played softball, and people would see that in you, and it's like that everywhere, It can be whether it's cornhole. It can be maybe just a little get together somewhere. You may not. People are so scared sometimes to, and I don't go to parties and stuff like that. But if it's a hangout and maybe, like there may be drinking, doesn't mean like, oh, I need to stay away from that because Jesus was all around that. But it's just sometimes our people are like, no, I can't be involved in that which I understand, yes. If you did have a problem with that, you don't want it to come and attack you. Yes, but it's like, man, God is so much stronger,
Yeah.
And that's us. Like we have to be
You know, and it's funny, man, Jeremy, because I don't have an issue with alcohol no more. I don't have an issue with drugs no more.
Yeah.
Like literally, I gave that to God, and God took it away from me. Like that's not an issue for me. That's not, man. I literally, God took that away from my life, and I thank God for that. You know, I thank God for that. You know, again, I tell you that if you ask God to take something away from your life, God's gonna do it. But you gotta do it with a sincere heart, man. You gotta do it with a sincere heart, and gotta take it away from you. You know, do I struggle with things? Yes, I still struggle with things. You know, I'm my body. You know, I'm flesh. You know, I struggle. You know, there's a lot of things that I struggle with. You know, there's a lot of things that I struggle with. You know, those are things that I still give God to God on a daily basis. You know, I tell God to take that away from me. But you know, people also want to see that as Christians we're not perfect.
Yes, exactly.
You know, one thing that I think the church has gotten good at is hiding our sin, and the Bible tells us that we should confess our sins, not hide our sins. The Bible says we should confess our sins to one another.
Yeah.
You know, and as a church, we're not doing that, man. I remember Tyler, man. Tyler was a youth pastor at First Baptist, and we were getting together as youth pastors, youth leaders, and I don't know if any youth pastors that are listening remember this, but we went to our church. We were going to get ready for See You at the Pole, an event that we're going to have together with other churches, you know, and we're getting together to get stuff ready, to pray for the event and stuff like that. And I remember Tyler, man, God bless Tyler, man. He was a little different, man. And I love him. You know, I love him. He's been, you know, I still keep up with him, and he brought this into my life. I remember we're gonna pray, and he told us, you know what, God only he hears the prayer of a just man. You know, so in order for us to be just, you know, righteous, we have to confess our sins. And he said, okay, we're going to pray. He goes, get together, hold hands. And again, this is a bunch of youth pastors, bro, right? We're a bunch of youth pastors. And he's like, well, let's confess our sins. And we're like, nah, man, nah, you know, you crazy. I ain't got no sin. You know, I ain't got no sin.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden we're like perfect. We're like, no. Like literally, God wants us to be, you know, just as transparent. You know, we're not perfect. Carlos Gonzalez is not a perfect guy, man. I have my struggles that I have my demons that I still fight with, my struggles that I still fight with, man. Yeah. On a daily basis that I give over to God, and I say, God, take them away. You know, with the sincere heart, but those things that the enemy brings back into our lives sometimes, man. And people want to see that you're real, Jeremy. People want to see that you're real, man. They want to see that you struggle with things too, that you go through things, that you're not, you know, already in heaven, that you're not perfect, you know, that we're not walking on water. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of times as a church, that's what we do, man. We shy away people because their sin is visible and our sin is hidden, man. You know, so we push people away because of that, man. Yeah. So
my bad.
No, you're good, going. Man.
No,
I'm just thinking, man. I could talk about this all day long,
dude.
Man.
No, and that's good. Like that's what it's for. Podcast can go as long as it's want. I mean, as long as we want to go, time to me does not matter. But no, I agree 100% of everything what you said. And even when it comes to preaching, like they want to see the real you, you know. And I feel like they grab their attention is more focused when you're real, when they know, like, yes, just like you said, I'm struggling. Yes, like, yeah, I do deal with this or I do deal with that, but this is what God is doing right now. You know, when they see that you're real, it's just like, man, it's like, okay, now I know I can get along with this guy. I know, you know, yes. And I think, and just like with people on the outside that don't go to church and that don't know God, man, everything you just said, yes, I totally agree with 100%.
One thing, you know, you're in youth ministry right now too. One thing that I've learned in youth ministry is that students will just test a fake, man. They'll see a snake coming from a mile away, man.
Yes.
That's the one thing that I loved about youth ministry, is that I couldn't hide behind a fake me. because they'll be like, man, Carl, you being fake, and they call you out. They're not like us adults, man. They're not like us adults. They'll be like, they don't tell you nothing to your face. Like if I have an issue with you, that I'm not gonna tell you to your face. I go home and be like, nah, with Jeremy, this and that. The students are not like that. So be like, hey, Carl, why you being fake, bro? You gotta be real, man. And that's what I loved about youth ministry, man. That they call you out, and you're like,
they'll say you straight.
Yeah. You're like, oh man. So I gotta check myself. Hey, and sometimes maybe I'm doing things that I don't even know that I'm doing wrong. And the student will be like, hey, why you doing this? Why you doing that? Why you talking like this? You gotta be real, Carlos, man. You're preaching about this, but you're not living it. I've had students come up to me and tell me that. He goes, how could you be preaching this, but then you're over there? I remember one time I was preaching on honoring your father and your mother. And I remember one time after church, I was talking to my mom or to my dad, and I kind of raised my voice at my dad, and the student just looked at me and was like, honor your father and your mother, Carlos. You just told me. I was like, and they'll call you out. They'll call you out on it, which that's what I love about youth ministry, man. That they just have they could see a fake from a mile away, man.
But they also want that. They want to know that you're real. And to me, I love it when we're at Expand, and of course I don't preach all the time, I don't really ever preach all the time, but maybe it's during offering and I'm telling something that's happened to me, or maybe even just out in the foyer, we're playing games and we're talking, like when they know that, okay, this guy is real, this guy actually cares, I'm slowly going to open up to him. It's like, man, it's the best, not the best, let's say the best feeling, but it's just amazing how they're like a sponge. We always say, oh, the kids are like a sponge, but no, students are the same way. They're in high school. They pay attention to everything that you do. And it's just like with these adults, they pay attention to everything that you do, and it's amazing because I've even had people come up to me and be like, hey, I love it that you're real. I love it that you're just you. You're not trying to be a fake. You're not trying to be something you're not. And it's like, exactly. Like, I don't want to live my life being somebody that I'm not. Like, I understand, yes, I do have struggles. Yes, just like everybody else. But I'm going to live the way God wants me to live, and I'm going to be as real as I can. And I think that's why I even have this podcast. It's like, man, you give me your opinion. I don't want what yes, I want what the Bible says, but it doesn't have to always be textbook.
Yeah.
I want to know what your opinion is. I want to know what you think about this, what you think about that. And to me, that it's amazing to hear people's different perspectives on different things. Mm-hmm. Like, I bet if I were to tell somebody else about the community, it'd be something totally different. Yep. But since, I mean, you know the community, so that the answer you gave me is just like, man, yes, 100% agree with everything.
And I'm big on the community too, man. I'm not a big missions guy. I believe there's missions right here in Seminole that I could be reaching, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Again, my respects for people that do missions. That they go out and they speak the gospel, and I respect that. I love it. They're being the hands and the feet also. They're doing that. But I believe God has called me to the local, to my community. That's my mission field. I literally believe that with all my heart, man. That I have to reach out to the people here, and I believe that's what God has equipped me to do. And God has equipped each and every single one of us to do different things. To do different things, and allowed us to do it. Maybe one day, God's gonna say, okay, Carlos, stop doing local stuff and go on a mission trip or whatever, And when God says that, I'm gonna have to be obedient to it. If I want to be, keep, be following God's commands or God's doing in my life, I'm gonna have to follow that. But for right now, God is, God tells me, hey, this is where you got to be, man. There's still people, you could drive around on a Sunday or on a Wednesday, and there's people all over town that are not in church, that are not hearing the gospel that are not hearing. You got the jails full, you got the hospitals full, you got streets full of people that need to hear the gospel. Of Jesus Christ here in Seminole, Texas.
Yeah.
Man, so.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know what? What do you think of this when people say, "I'm called to the nations, but not to my community"? What do you think of that? And I'll let you answer that.
To me, that again, they're all being hands and feet. My sister Eunice she's a mission driven person. And these are conversations that me and her have. I tell her, I say, yeah, if God sends you over there, I say God sent Jonah too, and he didn't go where God wanted him to go, whatever, but it's again, we have to learn that we're all being hands,
Yeah.
we're all being feet, if God calls them there, great, they're being obedient. I can't judge that either.
Yeah.
I can't judge what God is doing in somebody else's life, because if God is calling them there, God's calling them there. But if God is calling you, but I think we have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
We have to start somewhere.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We got to start with our neighbors. The Bible says, "Love your neighbor."
Yeah.
We don't have to go to our neighbor country.
Yeah.
We go to our neighbor right next to our house. How many of us, our neighbors know who we are. I've lived in the same house for 10 years now, 12 years. Do the people around me know that I'm a Christian?
Oh man, yeah.
Have I been to have I helped them out in any way, shape, or form? Do they know that I worship God, that I believe in a God that could heal, that could take away any of their issues? Do they know that? Because if not, then I'm not doing something that I'm supposed to, because the Bible's telling me to do that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I think, again, me, my mentality is, okay, why am I going to go that far when there's people here right next to me that need to hear the gospel,
Yeah.
That's my thought on that. That's my theory on that.
And that's good. I'm same way. I would have to agree with you on that, because you do hear people that say, "Well, God's calling me to the nations." Okay, but while you're waiting here, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just be silent.
Yeah.
You can't just keep to yourself and be like, "Okay, now I'm gonna go be Jesus," and when I get home, I'm just gonna keep to myself. Like it.
Yeah.
It didn't ever make sense to me.
It's a little different.
It is
different. Yeah.
No. Dang it. Yeah, man, I can keep going on with that one. Some people, Christians even, and of course people that aren't Christians, they say, why do good things happen to, why do bad things happen to good people? And then I bring up Arlie, what happened with her, what answer would you have for that?
I don't think that's a bad thing. That was God's. That's God's purpose. I struggled with what happened to Arlie. I struggled with what happened to Arlie.
Yeah, that was actually my next question.
Did I want to take revenge? Yes. Yes. The old man wanted to come out of me. The flesh is still there. The enemy knows where to attack us, Jeremy. The enemy knows where to hit you, man. Where to attack and where to hit, and why he's doing that. I believe that Arlie's life was meant to end, that day. That's how God had planned Arlie's life. Whatever happened that day, God had it predestined. I believe God used, the young man that had the accident with Arlie to be able to fulfill Arlie's destiny, her purpose on this earth. I believe that. I have to understand that in my life. I have to, because if not, it'll drive me nuts, Jeremy. And then I'm gonna want to use my strengths to take care of what happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we can do it. The enemy is gonna attack us in our minds, But we need to know, that there's two for sure. That that God He has everything planned for us. He knows the day is going to start, and he knows the day is going to finish. He knows every single bit of it.
Yeah.
So who am I to say that wasn't God's purpose?
Yeah.
That was God's purpose. In Artie's life. Does it hurt that she's not here? Yes, it hurts. Does it hurt that she don't get to see her nephews grow up? Yes. Artie would have been a great aunt. She would have been. Artie was going places. She was already a counselor at the school. And she was going to go get her master's. At school, and she was. And she had goals and she had dreams to overcome. But at that point, God said, "Okay, this is where it stops.
Yeah.
This is where your life is." And I gotta understand that. I gotta believe that.
And even with people that are non-Christians, it's hard for them to believe.
Yeah.
Like, because you hear a lot of that. It's like, man, why is it? Why do bad things happen to good people? You hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And, man, sometimes I can't even answer that. I'm just like, I don't know. It's God's plan, but, like, I don't know.
One thing that is that as Christians, the Bible says that to die for us is gain. That's our goal as Christians. Our goal is to quit living here on earth. That's our goal. But sometimes we see it as a negative. When somebody dies, we see it as something bad, as something. Yes, it's gonna hurt me. The flesh is gonna hurt me, but God's purpose was fulfilled in that moment. Whoever when your life is done here and you're in Christ, man, you're not losing. You're winning a battle. You're winning the race at that moment. And that's what that's what the Bible says, and we gotta believe that, Jeremy. We gotta believe that as Christians. We can't believe everything else the Bible says and not believe that part of the Bible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can't believe that God's gonna bless me and not believe that it was God's will to take Artie's life for that day. I just can't take part of the Bible. I gotta take all the Bible, and believe it and believe it.
Yeah. Man, that's good. Yeah, that's good, man. How did it affect you, I guess? Because I know you said you were angry. Like, I'm guessing you were angry. And
Yeah. I mean, I was mad. I was really, really upset, man. The young man that ran into Artie, he had a history of accidents and of doing things, of DWIs and stuff. I think that's what was told to us, and so the enemy starts using that. That day that him and that Arlie and him wrecked, he wasn't under the influence. He wasn't, he hadn't been doing anything. He wasn't under the influence. He wasn't nothing. It was just an accident. It was an accident. It was a freak accident that happened, and literally, nothing. But yes, you start going back. You want to make excuses. You want to make, any little opening for me to be able to justify what I want to do to this guy.
Yeah.
Anything that says, if he took my sister's life, I'll take his life. Those are the kind of thoughts that they go through our mind.
Oh yeah.
And the enemy just starts putting that. And then we start putting ourselves in Jesus's shoes or in God's shoes, and then I'm gonna be the one that's judging, and I'm the one that's I can't do that. God didn't call me to do that. God told me to. God had me love my enemy.
Yeah.
He didn't ask me to go judge him. He told me to love him. It's the hardest thing to do, Jeremy. I've seen this young man around town, and it's difficult. It's difficult, but God says love him. That young man needed to see who Jesus was.
Yeah.
Maybe I missed my opportunity to be able to show that young man who Jesus was, because I was battling with what was going on in my mind. I couldn't have control those thoughts in my mind. Maybe I missed an opportunity for that young man to become a Christian. That young man, I've come to know that he knows who Jesus Christ is. He knows the Bible. He's been to church. His parents go to church. And maybe I missed an opportunity to be able to be able to show him, not speak, not preach the gospel, but show him God's love. Maybe I missed that opportunity, Jeremy. And I pray to God that one day, he gives me an opportunity to be able to show him that love that God has for them.
Mm.
And know that we're not upset at them, that we're not mad because of what happened. Does it hurt? Yes, it hurts, but we're not upset. That's God's. That was God's purpose
Yeah.
in Artie's life.
Mm. Yeah. No, man. I believe that you'll be able to. I believe that opportunity is still there. We have an opportunity to do that every day. That's kind of like one of the things I live by is, man, am I ready to love today? I mean, am I ready to love tomorrow? Am I ready to love the whole, like my entire life? That's something that I do live by because every opportunity that I have, like I want to show people, like man, the love of Christ. And sometimes it is difficult. Love is patient,
Yeah.
love is kind.
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it is difficult at times, but man, no, I believe that the opportunity is still there. It'll happen. I think, and oh yeah, I think it'll happen.
I hope so, man. I hope so. I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss an opportunity. That God gives me. I want to um, be able to see with my eyes, with my spiritual eyes, what the opportunities that God shows. Not just my flesh, my eyes, my physical eyes. But I want to see. Those opportunities that God gives us. Because God gives us opportunities to be able to share the gospel, man,
Yeah,
on a daily basis. And there's times that we get in a hurry. We're maybe you woke up late, maybe you woke up in a bad mood, maybe I don't know, whatever it
yeah,
is, that we miss an opportunity to be able to show the gospel, to be able to show who God did, to share God's love
mm,
to somebody throughout the day. I hope I get that opportunity one more time.
yeah.
So.
No, I believe it'll happen, and I think it's like that every day especially when you're out with your family. People see how a man raises their family, and when they can see that, they can see the love there for sure. They know when, oh yeah, like he's a Christian. The way he handles himself, handles his family, like oh yeah, I can definitely see that in your family for sure. Yeah, your kids, your kids are awesome, man. They're funny. They're funny, but I can definitely tell that, man, you're doing a good job raising them, man.
I
You and
appreciate
your
it,
wife.
man. It's one of the hardest things that I've been allowed to do, man. Is be a dad,
Hmm.
be a dad, man.
Yeah, and man, yes, being a dad is amazing, man. Um, Andrea and I got to talking the other day, and it's hard for people to get that Jesus died, like God sent His Son to die for everyone. I had to think like, man, could I do that with my son?
Mm.
Like man, like you're about to get beat, Phoenix. You're about to just get tortured. They're about to spit on you. They're about to do everything they possibly can to you, and I'm not gonna help, dude. Like that's hard for me to take, but man, like to see that and to hear that, reading it's like, man, wow, like God, I don't know how you did that, but man, you love for sure.
Well, that's one of the hardest things, man. You just got a little boy, and Phoenix. He's a little boy, and you're gonna have an opportunity to be able to show this young man, grow this baby boy, grow up to a young man, to grow up to a man, and your perspective of how you do things are gonna change, man.
Oh yeah,
Because these kids, Nehemiah, Caleb are looking up to me. They look up to me to how to be young men.
mm-hmm.
Now there's so many. They got so many options. If they don't want, they don't have to be young men. You know what I mean?
Oh man, yes,
Whatever.
yes,
But I, that's one thing that I tell myself. That I got to show my boys how to be young men. That I can't let anybody else, tell him what a young man should be. I gotta be the dad there.
yeah,
I gotta be the dad. I gotta be the man in his life,
mm-hmm.
in their life. To be able to show them how to be a man. Hey, you struggle, you fall, you get up, and you go again. You
Yeah.
dust yourself off, and you go again. We gotta do that, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a different mentalities of how you're supposed to, grow, or raise, Yeah, yeah, man. I got two boys, man. They're always fighting, and me and Nancy had this conversation the other day. She's like, "I don't want them fighting." I'm like, "They're boys. Like they're boys. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not my daughters. They're my boys. They're gonna. Now we gotta teach them. When to use it, how to use it. And all that. You gotta teach them that. That's my job to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not something you do outside. At the house and stuff like that. You teach them that, but that's what boys are gonna do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like I know Phoenix will fall down sometimes at home, and Andrea's like, "Oh, my baby." I'm like, "Nah, leave him there. Like, let him. He'll kind of whine a little bit, and he'll get back up, and he's fine." I'm just like, no, like, and I'm not like that with of course, Skyra and Ebony are grown now, but I don't. With that was different. I think if she fell, I was there. Like, I'd let her know, like, no, Daddy's here. Which even with Phoenix, he knows I'm there. Like, I'm there watching. Like, yeah, I saw you fall, but I'm also gonna see you get up and keep going. Like I so yeah, it is different for sure. Like, it is way different raising a boy than it is a girl. But
everybody always tells me that I needed to have a little girl. Like, I knew what God knew what He was doing. God knew what He was doing, and not give me a little girl. I always joke. They're like, "You gonna have a little girl?" I was like, "Nope, I'm done. I'm done. Having kids. So everybody says that I need a little girl because they say I'm like mean to the boys. I'm like, no, they're boys. You gotta teach them you gotta treat them like a daughter. They're boys. So
yeah, oh yeah. I was kind of wanted to go over one more thing. Your business.
Yeah, man.
What made you decide to do that? Is that always something you've wanted to do, or was it just? Yeah.
It's been something I've always wanted to do. That. I've always wanted to start my own business. Yes, I always wanted to start my own business. I had the opportunity to be able to start. God opened doors for me to start my own business, and God's been a part of my business. Since day one, man.
Yeah. Dude, that's and it's striving, right? Everything is good, bro.
It's good, man. God is good, even in times like this. God's just been showing up, man. That he's faithful. He's faithful to us. Day in and day out. So.
Heck yeah, man. That's good. What's it called again? Your business?
Gonzalez Rentals and Services.
There you go. So if y'all listen to this, y'all need something, I'll let Carlos. He got you. He got you. Dude, man, loved it. Loved the conversation we had today. Loved it.
It's been a while, man, since I sat down and had a conversation with you, man. I remember, having all these conversations with you, sitting in our pickups, and having these conversations, when you were at Atmos and I was at the city, and I'm proud of you, Jeremy, man. You've grown up to be a great young man, a great dad, a great leader,
Thanks,
in this podcast, man. It's just awesome, man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it took me stepping out for sure, because I didn't know how well it was gonna be, but no, man. Yes, I do remember. I remember the talks, our conversations we'd always have for sure, in the alleys and everything.
Yeah.
But no, man. That I respect you. I mean, man. I love what you're doing, of course, with the community. Like I said, I've always looked up to you. May not have heard it from me, but I mean, I'm telling you now, like, you played a big role in my life. You have, man. I want to thank you for that too. Social media, somebody want to get a hold of you, kind of follow what you're doing in life.
Man, I got a Facebook and an Instagram, but I don't even know what my handles are, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't post much. I usually use Facebook to buy stuff on the marketplace, really, to do that. And I had it. I mainly used it when I was youth pastor, to be able to stay in touch with the youth. I mean, I'm not youth pastor anymore. I still, like I said, I get on it to buy stuff, really.
Yeah.
So Instagram, I hardly ever get on. So hit me up, call me, old school. Call me. I don't even text, man. I don't like texting either.
You gotta call them.
Yeah, I don't even like texting, man. Hit me up on my digits or hit my beeper up.
There you go. There you go. And you can find me, of course, on Instagram and Facebook. No holds. But yeah, man. Appreciate appreciate it, bro.
Man, thank you,
It was
Jeremy,
awesome.
man. Again, I'm proud of you, bro. It's good, man.
Thanks,
Keep it
sir.
up. You know, keep doing what God has put in your heart, man. You're doing great.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And until next time, we are out. Peace.